Whisper test. Just. Was
Good evening everybody and welcome to the broadcast of the GPVWC Super League here at Montreal, Canada, for what is possibly one of my all-time favourite circuits. It's a pleasure to welcome you to this event after a very soggy biscuit qualifying session. Things are a wee bit drier now and we're just in a warm-up session here to the race. We'll get you up to grips with all the latest action. However, I'm never alone, and extraordinaire is Mr. Meluish himself, and alongside me today we have the Mercurial, Mr. Ollie Woods. How you doing, Ollie?
I'm not too bad, thank you. Beer in hand. It's going to be a good one, I hope. How you doing?
Yeah. Myself, it was an absolute corker of a qualifying session because the case where you try and get the wind down as low as possible, and yeah, people were really struggling because out came the wet, and that was not very good at all.
It was incredibly interesting to see just how badly people struggled. Like, you had people that thing across the couple pieces from where
So we just came down to the actual kickoff itself. 2 minutes left of the warm-up session. As ever with the Montreal circuit, we've got 70 laps, 2-hour limit. The RF plugin will keep us heavily amused with what weather it will be. And I think after qualification, where so many drivers ran into incidents, I think they'll be praying for dry weather because very few people have actually gone for any margin on their wings.
Yeah, it's been interesting all weekend, really, or all week, I suppose. Sorry, because we've had on-off rain. I mean, in the Formula Challenge on Tuesday, it absolutely tipped it down in qualifying, and then was dry for the first race, and then again tipped down for the race. So you're going to see, and people aren't exactly happy with to put their setups on wet in case they compromise the rest of their race.
Well, the answer will soon come in about 30 seconds. Any ideas or guesses or secret squirrels that you're going to put through for the race itself?
I fancy if Easterbeek can keep it up, I reckon he might get a win here for Nijo. I know that Midnight and Nords have both got ridiculously good cars around here, but you look at how far back the Midnights are after qualifying, you look how much Dave Carl-Smith's been struggling, and you think maybe this could be the time for Nijo or even Torrent to make a move.
Well, all I know is it's going to be an absolute corker. Pretty much every race this season has been. We've been privileged to be part of it. If you want to join up for GPVWC, then pop over to gpvwc.com and sign yourself up. We've got plenties of leagues to keep you well amused, and I'm sure you will be amused when you get out onto the tracks. And here you was improving on Tuesday, Ollie.
Yeah, getting there slowly. Problem is, every time I move, and you get about 20 other cars coming here who are still quicker than me, so I don't get any further up the grid. Never mind. It's been good though, because I did free practice tonight here in Superleague, and I did testing at Watkins Glen last week as a favour to Mark Wicks because his Kerno team needed it. Because of course he drove for me this year just to fill the gap, and it's been really good fun getting back on the track. I wasn't last in both sessions, so that's something. Not sure what it is, but it's something.
Well, it is awesome, Asaurus, and it is dry as we go to the race itself by the looks of it, to me. The best of luck to everyone who gets themselves out onto the grid. Now you having actually driven a practice session, I'll be asking you plenty of technical questions.
Uh-oh.
When we go through the race. I.e. how to not go in the barrier would be quite
Oh.
awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if you're asking the right person on that one, but we'll soon find out.
Oh.
Okay, so while he gets himself back in his seat, we'll just go through. So, road he's to slightly about a kind of torrent attack straight behind him. Patacasa second and Jim Paris is third. Both doing very, very well in this circuit. I think their cars are beginning to really shine through now. Fourth, absolutely surprised, but DeVos is in fourth by the looks of it. I don't know. I thought there'd be a Jordan Weeks somewhere along the line, but it looks like he's starting 25th. Interesting.
Must be a penalty.
Ah, yes, must be the penalties. And then Dave Carl-Smith in fifth for Norwegian. Jason Muscat in a very impressive sixth for Red Archer. There seems to be something gone on in turn one. I'm just trying to find out what's going on for you. Can't see anyone missing stuff. Don't quite know what's going on there. Bear
Mark
with me
Stanton's in the pits. I wonder if he's binned it for constant.
Quite possibly. It looks like he was on wet tyres actually, so it might have been a bit of a mistake there by Mark. Never mind. Probably going to the pits and start off in the pits, and I'm sure he'll keep going. So to continue the grid, seventh, Adam Rouse making his debut for Woods Racing finally after all these years. Moved over from the Halcyon. Great start for him. Let's hope that Woods curse doesn't hit him. Eighth, Lewis Redshaw after going, no, Woods has out-qualified me all season. Look where he is, eighth behind Adam. Ninth, very, very surprisingly, Alex Cooper in a Simcraft Midnight Motorsport. I don't think anyone's expecting them down there. And then also, slightly unexpectedly, 10th, Tom van der Voort, Nijo Racing. In 11th, we've got Timu Toika, who's also starting from the pits by the looks of it. Don't know what's gone on there, slightly worrying. And 12th, David Junt for Red Archer. 13th, Lucas Euler, the reigning champ, all the way down there. Goodness knows what's gone on there. And then 14th, Boyd Bryson, very good showing for the Phoenix team here. 15th, Kerno Sport is Steve Verloy. Then 16th, Vinod Moodley. If it make it start to Halsey and James Johnson and Martin O'Connor both kind of making their debut. Oh, this is interesting. Team was behind. Then we got the two STs. We got Mark Fuller and Miles Deacon 24. Here we go.
He speaks away well. Stanton is doing the pit lane, but those two well clear, and Carson moves straight up to third. But the leading two well clear. Let's go. Scoopy smack. Now has gone back down the back of the field. O'Connor is in trouble too. Vinod Moodley's in trouble, and my goodness me, poor old Muscat in real trouble from Euler, your top 10. Euler up 3 already as they make their way round the second half of the lap.
Wow. Half, wasn't it? But really, so it looked like a Vettel-esque one if we're not too. As Cooper is down, Cooper's down the field and is into fourth there, but in fourth position there, Alex Cooper coming under attack from Lewis Redshaw for Hawkeye and Jim Paresis for Torrent, and they're going 3 wide down the back straight. This is going to be a real problem. Carl Smith's having to go at Cather. Well, second Redshaw round the outside of Cooper into the final again, and that is a massive accident for the back for what looks like a Hawkeye. It's DeVos, isn't it? It is DeVos. Yeah, it looks like he just got shunted. It's going everywhere on that, the Wall of Champions. Kind of expected that here on lap 1, but let's have a quick look. It looks like DeVos just got a little bit too hot trying to get past the Nijo there, and just it looks like the Nijo in front of him outped himself, and yeah, bye front wing.
Deary me, Jordan Weeks going round the pair of them as they go into turn 1, taking some opportunistic moves, but who's to beat? 2.5 seconds clear then of Casa, who's under attack from Carl Smith. Then it's Redshaw, Cooper, Paresis, Vandervoort, Rouse, Euler now up to 9, Verloin, Junt 10 and 11, and Carl Smith under it, well, about to attack Casa down into the hairpin. Casa, is he going to go defensive? No, he's not. Carl Smith takes a little lick, but it's going to be down into the final chicane that he'll do the deal there. Rouse and Euler side by side. Euler trying to go round the outside into the hairpin. Rouse will be more than capable of holding that one back. Back to Carl Smith and Casa over second and third. Down the home straight. Look at Casa. He's having to go defensive. He knows that he's got the inside line, but Carl Smith has got very low wings, and it done him in qualifying, but perfect for the race. Up into second position. Nice and cleanly done. Redshaw stays in 4 ahead of Cooper and Paresis. And there's problems further back. That's Verloy being overtaken by Junt for 10 and 11. And even further back, Weeks and Miles Dixon. Miles Dixon in 16th position. That's as high as he's ever been in a race here. And yeah, struggling away as O'Connor comes into the pits for Halcyon as well with a minus a front wing.
Quite interesting to see how easy that was to take past Smith. How much previous those two have got at chicanes. At Monaco, we saw that Dave made a brilliant move up, maybe a slightly cheeky move up during the chicane, and Casa ended up flipping over the runoffs trying to get out of the way.
Yep. No quarters drawn, or no prisoners taken down into that chicane. Such an aggressive place if you're going to overtake at all. Euler in 8th position, all over the back of Tom Vandervoort. Nearly had him going into the chicane as Cooper has a look at Redshaw for 4th and 5th position. Great to see Brittany so far up the field and almost getting like his heydays in the charts. as he goes up the field, nearly number one. Cooper taking a look at Redshaw, but nothing doing down into the chicane. However, Euler's trying to go around the outside of DeVos, and he takes 7th position again under braking. Quite nicely done. Rouse keeping a watching eye in the woods in 9th, with Junt, Verloy, Bryson and Phoenix in 12th. That's great for them. James Johnson on his debut for Halcyon in 14, Weeks in 15, and Dixon just outside the points in 16. We'll be pretty pleased with that. But O'Connor and DeVos have been into the pits. DeVos is still missing a front wing. He's not got another front wing, so he's lost his second front wing and is going to limp back to the pits again.
You sure about that? It looks like he's on there to me.
Oh, maybe it's just not popped on. Maybe I've got. Oh no, it's appeared as I clicked back on him again. Ba-boom! Kasser and Redshaw 3 and 4 as Kasser made a mistake. Redshaw's diving through. He takes 3rd position from Petter Kasser. Redshaw's up into a podium place. Kasser's in trouble. Look at Cooper now having a go, and Redshaw's going to half block him if he's not careful. Oh, Cooper nearly gets his nose chopped right off there by Kasser, and Redshaw now up into a podium position. This is dizzy heights. He might have some kind of panic attack.
Kasser's down ready for Renko.
Adam Rouse has just smacked the wall and has dropped behind David Junt for 9th and 10th positions.
Yeah, just a bit. Sorry.
As they come up through the field. So it's Heasterbeek leads by 2.5 seconds. Carl Smith holding him steady. Redshaw in 3rd and Kasser now under attack from Cooper and teammate Paresis in 4, 5 and 6. Euler and Vandervoort are about to join. Junt has got round Rouse, who smacked the Wall of Champions but is still going. So that's going quite nicely. And look at Cooper, he's going to have a go at Kasser for 4th and 5th down into the hairpin, but he just can't. I never find it safe to have a go down into the hairpin because it's a real problem on the exit, because you'll just get slipstreamed straight back through again, and if anything there, because Cooper is a bit aggressive into the hairpin, he's now too far back to have a go. Unlike Euler, he's having a look at Paresis. This is Midnight versus Torrent, and Coyle is going for the inside. He's outbraked himself, he's off across the sausage. Make sure you stay away from the Torrent. Well done there. Good evasive driving by Euler. Knew when it was done, and he missed the corner. But that's Tom Vandervoort with the ever smooth, silky voice tones that I could be sent to sleep with quite happily. I could listen to him repeat for hours, unable to do anything. A little bit wobbly on the exit. Stays in 7 and 8, but that drops them back, and that will allow Paresis and Cooper to focus on Kasser instead of what's going on behind.
Yeah, Matt, to your point about the hairpin, yeah, I guess it depends what the person in front of you is doing. For example, in practice, I think it was Tommy Koivunen. I don't know how to do tap, and I just go down the inside of him. And I managed to keep hold of it, which is quite. I'm very.
Christoph Lichtenstein, unfortunately, has been off the track as well and is rejoined in last position, so he's in real trouble. And as we continue on, still Heasterbeek, Carl Smith, Redshaw, then pulling away from Kasser and still pulling away quite happily. Then Cooper, Paresis, Euler, Vandervoort, Junt and Rouse rounding off your field. Muscat is in 11, Verloy 12, then Boyd Bryson 13 still. Weeks up to 14 ahead of James Johnson. Then it is Mark Fuller and Miles Dixon for ST 16-17, looking to hopefully get some points on the board at very long last. Moodley's right behind for Green Stripes in 18. Before Bennett, Ryan, Toyka, Stones, DeVos, O'Connor, Stanton and Lichtenstein round off your field. And we've had a quick switcheroo of commentators extraordinaires. Now got Tom Parker joining us.
Yes, hello. It's been a very few exciting first laps, hasn't it? It's been very fun to watch.
Yeah, and we've not even had the rain yet, as Cooper once again in 5th position, all over the back of Kasser. They're dropping away, they're 1.9 now behind Redshaw, who is absolutely revelling, and that's Cooper taking a little peek out. Not had too many successful moves down into that chicane, but there's so many different places because there are quite a lot of heavy braking that you can do around the Montreal circuit. Where do you find, apart from paving the Wall of Champions, where else can you overtake?
Well, like you said, everywhere and anywhere, really. So, I mean, there's a lot of chicanes and there's a lot of heavy braking. Like I said, it really does test your brakes out this track, as a few people found out last year and the year before. So, really anywhere, really. First corner, second corner, well, not second corner, but third, fourth. I think every single braking zone is really a realistic chance of pass, except maybe the chicane before the sector 1-2 line. But as Alex Cooper has another look, we can't quite do it, as Lucas has actually passed Jim.
Yeah, Lucas by Jim in the background. That was nicely done. Again in the inside, so he's not afraid of going either way, as Cooper then nearly tapped.
Oh, Verloy's in the wall! Verloy's in the wall of champions.
He is 14th position. That is Kerno not exactly excelling themselves. He was under attack by Boyd Bryson and just lost it on the entry. Somehow managed to tap it in the perfect fashion that he's not even left any damage visibly on the car. So if he could have smacked it in any other way, I think he would have walks away a lesser car for it, as Cooper again pushing Peter Casa, and they're side by side, and Cooper nearly alongside down in, he chickens out of that one. I would have stuck my car considerably alongside and just forced Casa off. Maybe a little bit of a naughty moose that I am, but Euler now has got the inside line for the hairpin, and Cooper unfortunately a bit passive, and that's not helped. And Vandervoort's having a stab at Paresis behind. That was opportunistic, busy watching what was going on ahead, the Greek. And unfortunately, don't get him to the Greek, get past the Greek is the name of the game there for Tom. And Casa still clings on to fourth, but now he's got Euler behind, and Euler's a different kettle of fish altogether.
Yeah, I think Alex isn't taking the opportunities as much as Lucas probably will. I think Alex has been a bit passive in some of the moves he could have done earlier, but Lucas alongside him, going to get him into turn one surely. Yep, look at that bit of rubbing with the wheels, but Lucas passed him, nice and done. There we go, now it's off after Lewis in third, who's doing a sterling job, must I say.
Absolutely, up into third then for Redshaw, up into fourth for Euler. Casa down to 5, then it's Cooper, then it's Jim Paresis and Tom Vandervoort. David Junt kind of clinging on to the back of this, he's not dropped away yet. Then it's Rouse Muscat. Jordan Weeks has just passed Boyd Bryson for 12th and 13th, so Weeks going back up from the back of the field. Verloy is now in 14th despite that kiss with the champions. Johnson still clinging on to the final point in 15th for Halcyon. Then it's Mark Fuller, still ahead of Moodley. Then Ryan, Toyka, Scott Bennett, Miles Dixon and Dale Stones. And actually the Toyka, Bennett and Dixon 19-20-21 is a nice little close battle. And the battle for the wooden spoon is still between Mark Stanton and Christoph Lichtenstein, and they're battling quite hard as well. As side by side, Cooper and Casa. And this is Cooper's best run out from the hairpin so far. Side by side they go. Now the Midnights were struggling in the wet because they had such low wings, but Casa appears to have that last little final push. Across he goes. And my goodness me, Casa's not an easy man to pass for Cooper, is he?
No, I think that's what the 6th, 7th attempt that Alex had into that, not into that corner, but in the race so far. You just can't get done. As Jim has a look at the inside of Alex, but can't quite make it stick, and now has to look in the mirrors to stop Tom going past him. So it's a nice little battle here from 5th down to 8th. So really on those games, Alex and Petr pull that little bit of a gap to Jim, but I'm expecting that to close right back up again in any second. Let's look at that. Lucas has already got a 1.5 second lead on Petr, so it's Alex has looked down again, and can't quite make it stick up the inside there. So Alex having all sorts of problems casting Petr here.
Not grand, not grand. And in a dry practice session, the times were so close. There was less than a second covering, I think, the first 16 or 17 in that practice session. It was really, really tight. Tighter than your average Virgin. And there's Paresis really having to defend from Vandervoort, who's trying to go round the outside this time. He nearly went onto the grass a few laps ago to try and get round Paresis on an opportunistic lunge. That didn't work. But a nice wide exit can often mean that you get a little bit more momentum down these straights. He's sucking up the slipstream like he's sucking it up good and proper. Cooper has a look, but we know that won't work. But Vandervoort's more sticky, and that is commitment through and through into the final.
Oh, Lucas is round! Lucas is round! Lucas must have put a bit too much power down on out of the exit. The final chicane, he went straight round. It looks like he's got all of his car still on the...
Oh, bizarre one. Yeah. Just losing it on the exit of the chicane. He was through quite happily, and just, too much power, as you said, Tom.
Huge shame for Lucas there, because he'd really got him. I think he was catching Lewis at a nice comfortable rate. It looks like he's just trying to push a little bit too hard, but that's given the initiative, especially towards the top 3 now. Lewis will probably be breathing easy. And in the words of Malucci's tipped the big round mound thing at the final corner, and looks like he just spun him round. So yeah, Lucas... bit of a disaster for him today, isn't it, really?
Sounds like he hit a moob. But yeah, that's helped Redshaw, who's now got a 6-second advantage over Seb, who will not let go of this 4th position by hook or by crook. And all he's doing is backing Cooper, Vandervoort, Paresis. Junt is still there. Rouse is just another 2 seconds back. Muscat is 10. Euler rejoined in 11, so he's got some work to do. And again, there, Cooper has another look. He just needs to be sticky on it. And he's not. It's like his wings isn't quite hitting that last little touch that he needs just to get that smidgy of an advantage. And that was under attack who's certainly got those wings, and he's not going to be compromising on the curb. My goodness me. It's out from set up with a little bit less wing, in my opinion, and it's really made it quite difficult for Cooper to make any overtakes, but it makes him very, very open for attack from behind.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, like we just saw, Alex tried to make the move, and then as soon as he's actually going for the move again into this corner, but it looks like he's going to back out of it again. No, he's going to make a stick. Well done, Alex. He's finally got through. So Alex has put up Alex into 4th place, and Tom right behind as well, going up for the move.
He is indeed about to stomp it right up through the outside. Just clinging it on, and Casser. So this is a Casser I've not seen. Look at Jim. Warp speed, Jim. Up you go.
Yeah, but it looks like Pear got a bit wobbly on the exit of the hairpin, and that obviously let Tom through, and it just gave Jim the run, and there we go, down from 4th down to 7th in just a couple of corners.
Junt's in the pits behind. I was about to say Junt is on a different tyre strategy, and he's straight in from what was 8th position. And I'll be interested to see how that plays out. So Rouse goes up to 8, Casser's up to 9, and Vandervoort and Paresis side by side again. Paresis trying to go back round the outside of Tom Vandervoort. Tom had it. Paresis gets it back. My goodness me.
Yeah, so these people definitely have a ding-dong of a battle here. But lovely entertaining Grand Prix so far.
Lap 13 then of 70. Junt rejoins in 13th position. He's gone for another set of the yellow-rimmed option tyres. That will keep him very much on a completely different strategy to everyone else, pretty much. So we'll see how that goes. Still, it's though He's to Peak leading by just 1.1 seconds. Carl Smith has narrowed that down. Redshaw's 5 seconds off the leader in 3rd. Then it's Cooper. Paresis and Vandervoort side by side again. That will be surely the best run down this main straight. Let's see how he does it. Pulling out from the slipstream quite nicely. Has he got that final momentum of the slipstream? He's through, and Jim wants to go straight back through again. He's
So we've got a battle for 8th place between Rouse and Muscat. Muscat just cruised up to the back of Adam. Looks like he's got a quicker car of the two. Adam obviously joining Woods Racing for this race. Adam just gets to the bay for now, so it looks like that's another one to watch as we've got Euler actually catching them up there. Nice and quick pace up the front though. Thomas managed to get round Jim. It's actually caught right onto the back of Alex, so that Nijis there looks very, very, very quick. So if he can get up to 4th, and with obviously Rude leading, but only by just under a second now, as Dave Osmond managed to get down to a 1 second gap between the two of them. Lucas Ollis, that's fastest up in the race of 15.5, so he's definitely on it after his earlier mistake cost him 4th place.
We've lost Martin O'Connor as well. He's crashed out from that 3rd. That's our first minute of the day.
Yep, huge shame for him as he made his Halcyon debut today. So we've only got the one Halcyon of James Johnson, who's actually doing a very good job on his debut in that Halcyon in 15th place. So more points for the Halcyon team. He's only got a 2-second lead on Fuller, though, who's obviously trying to get ST's first points of the season. So hopefully you'll see some nice battles there. Euler just cruising onto the back of Adam and Jason for 8th, 9th and 10th. Obviously Lucas set fast lap the last time round, so he's definitely on a charge.
Cott Bennett and Miles Dixon have just swapped positions for 21st and 22nd out of the final chicane, and they're about to be lapped by the leaders as Dale Stones makes his first pit stop as well.
And Tom very close to Alex now, just not quite close enough to make a move, and I don't think he got the best exit out of the final chicane. So Tom in 5th, Alex in 4th. Tom's still a bit too far back to make anything of it, but they're definitely in a little scrap as Jim is just behind him as well now. So Jim's got latched on, but Pettis has actually fallen off a little bit. Pettis, I think, just hasn't got the pace in him. Whether he's on a different strategy or not, I don't quite know. I can't quite see what Mr. Malouche, our cameraman, says Pettis not very well. So 1, get well, Sue Pettis, and 2, just try and survive if you're not feeling very well. Yeah, it's just 2.5 seconds off Jim, Tom, and Alex. So he's still there in the top 7 there. So he's doing a good job. As now the battle for 9th place starting to hot up as Lucas and Adam. Oh, and Adam is really closing in on Jason. Looks like Jason's just slower after 3 cars there. Oh, Lucas gonna have a look into the hairpin this time round, possibly. No, doesn't think better of it as we go through the hairpin now, but up front, rudely speaking, Dave Cosmos separated by less than a second once again. Dave Cosmos' car flying through the air there. As Dave Cosmos actually sets fastest lap of the race again, so Dave really, really aiming for the win here. Lewis having a very good... we've got a battle for 4th place, hotting up between Tom and Alex. Tom gets a bit of a wiggle out on the corner exit, but hasn't really affected him too much. Jim's dropped off a little bit from these two. Looks like he hasn't got the pace as Tom gets very, very close to that wall there on the exit at turn 4. Looks like Alex pulled out a little bit of a gap now, so Tom's now got to concentrate on his mirrors rather than the car in front of him as we lose virtual laps. Dave Smith still not quite in the slipstream of Rude, so I have to wait another lap, my friend. Jordan Weeks now, look at that, fastest lap in Jordan in now in 11th place, cruising onto the back of the Euler, Muscat and Rouse battle actually, so Jordan looking very quick, having to make a Parc Fermé change due to the brakes always getting a bit wobbly there out of chicane. He's in 11th place, but definitely on a charge after starting from the very back of the grid, so he's doing a very, very good job today. Dave Smith takes fastest lap again, so they're still fighting very hard.
Rouse around the outside of Muscat. That will do nicely. The Woods Racing driver up to 8th position, and Muscat now wrong-footed out of the final chicane. That will allow Weather through, surely coming to turn 1.
Yep, Euler, look at that, going straight up the inside now, up to 9th place, but can he make a stick? Jason gets the cut, like side by side. Oh, I think Jason might just... Oh no, look at that, Euler just powers on the outside. He's got a racing line for this corner, so Euler up into 9th place.
He's so much more confident on the curbs.
Yes, I think that Midnight's obviously maxed out, and he's obviously putting some practice. I can't quite see what tyres he's on, as I'm not actually in the servo as a driver. So, Euler, yeah, he's definitely a lot more comfortable. He's Super League champion, he knows what he's doing, and that Midnight's a bloody good car. So, I mean, Adam hasn't only driven the Woods competitively, well, never. So this is Adam's first race, and hopefully for him, he's doing a good job. I mean, he's probably going to get Woods' best result of the season if it stands like this.
Tom Vandervoort round, and he's dropped behind Alex Cooper, so that's put him back down behind Alex. So Alex 4, Tom 5, and Paris now on the back of him for 6, and may well demote our favourite Niger man. And he keeps hold of it for now. But yeah, Tom lost out there to Cooper, out from the chicane.
That's huge, James. Tom does look like the quicker of the 3 cars there. He's going to have another look into turn 1. He's going to go on the outside of turn 1. He's going to give him the inside for turn 2. He's going to stick it round there. Alex leaves very little room enough for a Nijo. And is Tom going to get it? He's got the better drive, but Alex has got an even better drive out of the corner there. And Alex is going to keep it. Tom going to stick up the inside. No. Oh, he thinks better of it, but whew, very close stuff.
Look at it, he comes down the outside for this chicane, and that is very, very tight indeed. And it's better to actually think better of this and wait for a little bit. But look at Jim.
I think Jim wants a little bit of this. It's all he can't quite make it. But then Tom making a move on Alex. Oh, can he make it stick? Oh, he pushed him off just a little bit naughty, and Jim nips past both of them. Well, he makes past Alex. Well, Tom, I'm not sure if Tom would be told to let Alex back through.
He quits in for Jim if that is true, though.
That would be quitting for Jim. Jim would be up to 4th, but yeah, Tom in 4th now, Jim in 5th. But will Jim do it with his own accord? He's in the slipstream with Mr. Vandervoort. He's going to have a long, long back straight, coming up to a battling pair of Bennett and Dixon. Jim's going to try and get it done before he even gets to the corner. He can't quite do it, and he does. Jim gets through. Jim up to 4th place.
Bennett and Dixon have been at each other's throats for several laps. Vinod Moodley's into the pits with an out of front wing, so that's problems as Tom tries the same move again. Dixon gets well out of the way. That's a little bit too close for comfort, but Paresis holds the position, and he was able to withstand that one a little bit better than what Cooper did the previous lap round as Bennett gets well out of the way. He doesn't want a Bennett train.
Oh, and Tom gets very, very close to him, holds Alex up a little bit, but nothing he could do about it. Might have been a bit of lag there, but Tom was nearly in Scott Bennett's nether regions. Dave Smith now still only just under a second behind. He seems to be able to get into the dirty air, and he can't quite make anything stick. He's got the low wings. He's been complaining in practice and quality that he has his wings very, very low, but can't quite seem to make anything happen of them. And down the back straight, he has to brake much, much earlier than Rude. Rude pulls out about 2.5 attempts on the braking alone, so Dave looks to be struggling with these low wings. Well, I say struggling for Dave.
In Dave comparison, everyone else would be cartwheeling.
Oh, it's Tom, very close between him and Jim for 4th place again. Tom pulls to the inside for this little kink and outside of turn 1. He's got the advantage, but Jim breaks much, much later and manages to keep it. But Jim pushes Tom around a little bit. Not giving any room there at all. Racing hard but fair. Tom's very, very close to that diffuser. Hopefully drivers know what they are doing now, so they won't exactly cause an accident. Tom has a bit of a cheeky look, but thinks better of it as Alex is only half a second behind him, so he's still got to keep an eye out for the Midnight Man. Look at that! Blocking the inside, trying to each and every way to keep Tom behind him. Tom gets the much better exit, but gets bolted by Jim there, being just there on the apex. Can't make anything of it, but he's got. Look at that! Can you? Can't get any closer. And he's going to run around the outside of the hairpin. Will he make this stick? Look, he does. He's clean around the outside, but Jim gets the better exit.
There is a rear wing and a front wing in the final chicane, and I can't work out whose it is. It may well have been. It's Jason Muscat's front wing, but there is a rear wing as well, and it's Adam Rouse. No, it's not Adam Rouse's, but there's someone's rear wing there as well. So I'll pick out who that is.
And Boyd Bryson has just been in the pits from what must have been around 10th, because he's now in 12th place. Boyd Bryson did a very good job for Phoenix there, up in 12th place. Stellar drive from the South African. In dizzy heights, he's already had a pit stop as well, so he could actually be thinking of further heights should other people make their pit stops in the near future. Yeah, Rouse has actually got a stop-go penalty. I don't know what that is for.
I wonder if he was involved in something there. He's got Muscat behind him. They're both further down the field than where they have been, so I wonder if they've had an excursion somewhere along the line.
I think, Rouse hasn't actually pitted yet, so surprised at why he's got that stop-go. He is coming into the pits now, though, so I know he's turned his pit light back off, so odd situation here for the Woodsman. It seems to be that Woods curse. It's just poor Ollie.
It follows.
Tom's got through Jim for 4th place, so Tom now up into 4th place for Nijo. That's a very good showing for them, 1st and 4th for them. That's Dave Smith, look at that, right on the back of Rude Heasterby now for the lead.
Taking him a while to get there, but he's certainly slowly eating in, and he's got his car set up for overtaking, hasn't he?
He does indeed. With those low wings, you can just all he has to do is get close to him on the back of the onto the back straight rather, and he'll be clean past him. But look at this, Rude just gets away from him again in the middle sector. Look, he's already pulled out half a second in just that one sector alone. But Dave seems to be able to put the power down a bit earlier, and it's really paying dividends for him.
But if you've got slightly lower wings, it's going to be that first sector where it pays dividends for you, isn't it? Because that's where most of the really tight, twistier, precision-esque corners are, whereas these ones are stamp it down and go.
They are indeed. Let's look at Dave now within half a second. I think this is the closest he's been in this corner. Yeah, because a bit of a sloppy mid-corner. And he is catching Rude up, though. He's got a better exit of the two drivers. He's now within 5 attempts. He's still going to be too far back to make anything of it. He's in the slipstream of the Nijo, though, getting within 4 attempts, but can't make anything of it as he gets down to the chicane. Oh, he's in! Dave lost by pits.
Obviously, he doesn't want to be held up by the race leader, Ruud Heesterbeek.
And loses him.
Oh, he is. Brittany's in.
Tom, Jim, they've all got their pit lights on.
This appears to be the lap 23 we're on. Yep, they are. They're pouring in.
Alex
Keep going though for midnight.
Yep, Jordan Weeks is also going to be in. Oh no, he's not. He's just got his pit light on, but he goes through again. Both the Midnights are actually not in as of yet. Dave Crossman comes out of the pits. He's going to fall in behind the Midnights. That's a horror show for... Oh, he's going to beat them out! Oh, he beats them out. That's going to be key to Dave's race, because now he can just keep... If he'd got behind those Midnights, he would have been stuck in relation to Rude. So, brilliant timing there for Dave Carr-Smith.
That's worked out mighty fine. Heesterbeek still leads from Carr-Smith, obviously. Euler and Cooper. Then Casa, Weeks, Redshaw, Vandervoort, Paresis and Johnson. Paresis out in clear air as well, so that's worked out well for him. Boyd Bryson's still in 12th after his stop too. And yeah, that has worked out beautifully. Kieran Ryan in from 24th.
Yeah, but now Rude has got his pit light on. Will he go into the pit this time round? Oh, he almost hits Jason Muscat as he goes round the one corner. But Ruud Heesterbeek, our race leader, now in the pits. Will he relinquish the lead to Dave? And Rouse also in from 15th.
Yeah, and he's actually coming in for a pit stop, so we're not sure if that stop and go will be served or if it's going to be removed or not. Heesterbeek nicely sitting in his place. This is exactly bang on 1/3 distance, so I can guess their strategy from a mile off. But Carr-Smith's out of the final corner. He's got Euler pushing him all the way, but Heesterbeek is already out from the corner. I think he could well have it. Carr-Smith goes steaming round to turn 1 and 2. No!
He's done it!
Wrong side!
Oh, and he taps the grass but gets away with it. So there we go. Lucas Oil has managed to get out ahead of Rude, but more importantly, Dave Carr-Smith out in front in the lead.
Beautifully done there. Nice little undercut. That will do him. And he's got the buffer of Euler as someone's in the pits. That's David, Jordan Weeks and Petter Casa. And Casa rejoins behind Paresis. So that's a continuation of a change of their fortunes there for Torrent too.
Yep, Verloy in from 11th lap promotes. Boyd Bryson up into 11th place. Boyd Bryson doing an absolutely stellar job for that Phoenix. He's doing a really good job of just keeping it on the road and keeping out of trouble. He's up roared within 11th place, doing a very good job, the South African.
Hats off to Phoenix. That would pretty much triple their points tally, it would seem, so far this season if he stays there.
Indeed, as Lucas has got his pit light on, but he's looking to battle Dave, so I don't think he'll be coming in this time round, will he? No, he doesn't. Goes round again, so it looks like Lucas will be low on fuel as Alex Cooper comes into the pit. So Alex is in already. He hasn't got his pit light on though, so Alex is going to have a bit of a longer stop, I think. Look at him pull right in for his pit stop.
That can't be the most tactically best place to have your pit garage, surely. That would make your stops ever so slightly longer than everyone else's, surely.
Yeah, it would. You've had to put in like that. So with someone like the Woods or the Midnight, sorry, just ST used to pull straight in, but Alex had a bit of a slow stop. Obviously, he didn't actually request his pit team, so would have caused a bit of time. He's actually out behind Tom, and is he going to come up behind Jim? He just beats him out, I think. He does, he beats Jim out, so he is ahead of the two Midnights, but he's still got the Nijo of Tom Vandervoort ahead of him.
Junt's not been shaken off either. Junt on a completely different strategy, pit stop and tyre-wise, to everyone else. But Junt very much keeping the dark show with a shout of a top 6 finish currently at the moment. So all to play for, and Carr-Smith still under attack by Euler, but Euler, of course, still yet to pit. Surely, it's all very well going for the battle, but that's losing him time against the people that he's really racing.
It is indeed, and Lucas is staying on the right, and he is staying left into the pit lane. So Lucas Euler into the pits. I think he's got fastest lap as well, or fourth. No, Dave Carr-Smith 14.5 has got fastest lap. Dave really making use of these fresh tyres. I can't quite see what compound he is on, but definitely making use of them, as he's already got a 4.5 second gap on Rude. That promotes Lewis Redshaw back into third place. What a stunning drive from Lewis. He's really, really pulling out all the stops today.
We've seen it slowly build over the last 2 or 3 races, haven't we? Because he was knocking around the outskirts of the top 6, top 8, Monaco-wise and things like that before things didn't quite pan out so well. And this time he's hit his heights even higher, and this time he's stayed there. So yeah, you've seen a real maturing, like a proper Stilton. He's come of age this season so far.
He has indeed. He's got Lucas Oil behind him now, though, so that won't exactly keep his hopes up that much. But he is 6.5 seconds gap between Lewis and Lucas, so Lewis has still got a few laps to push on. Obviously, Lucas will have to get his tyres up to temperature before he can make any sort of attack, so Lewis has got to make this lap work for him.
Absolutely. Timu Toika's just moved up into 13th position as Bart DeVos pits. Steve Verlooy goes into 14 for that. So DeVos rejoins in 15th. Miles Dixon too is in the pits. So they're the last ones of the people really to pit. And we'll wait a lap or two and then we'll give you a full rundown of the field.
There was James Johnson and Adam Rouse battling for 16th position. Adam obviously ran into trouble, which you don't quite know what that was about earlier on, but he has passed James Johnson for 16th place as Miles Dixon comes out of the pit just behind them.
Junt's gone round Casa for 8th and 9th. That's key. Junt, on a slightly different strategy, was kind of clinging onto the back of this group. Now he's starting to ascend up it. He's got to make hay while the sun shines on those tyres and ensure that he gets the most out of them, because he'll be running backwards to everyone else at the back end of this race.
Indeed, yeah, Junt's actually doing a very good job early. He did actually have fastest lap for a short while, so Junt doing a very good job today actually in that Red Archer. Jason Muscat down in 12th place. He's outperforming his Maltese teammate, so good job from David today actually.
Maltese, as in the chocolate?
If only.
Ah,
I do like a good Malteser. I had a Malteser milkshake earlier, it was lovely.
If you go to Shakeaways, if you get the Malteser milkshake and then get the malt topping, double malt on top, it does a chemical reaction and it starts to explode all over the place, and then the staff members don't quite know what to do.
If only they just had to shake away and swim them, I'm going to do it. As Jim's now all over the back of Alex for 5th place. The things we talk about in this commentary box, eh?
Ah, big hugs. But I'll tell you what, Jim's about to give a big hug to Alex from behind, not kind of hug that Alex would appreciate, and he goes around the outside, swooping through and takes 6th position. And this is the second time really in a row that Casa has been really challenged by Jim. They always stay very close together, but Casa seems to always appear like a little poking his nose out on top. And the last 2 races it's been Jim that's kind of popped to the fore. It's been interesting to see the switch in that dynamic.
Yeah, I think these two are very matched on pace. I think if anything they're probably the most 2 matched on pace in the field.
Agreed.
But yeah, like you said, Petter has edged his nose ahead in some races, but in the last couple of races, that's a bit of bad luck, hasn't he? So, but Jim has had a pole position for the team. I mean, he had it in Malaysia, didn't he? Excellent pole position in Malaysia. So, I mean, like I said, they're both very well matched, and it's probably what's actually helping Torrent do so well this season, having each other there to push each other on. And I think they're all 3rd in the standings, aren't they, at the moment? So, Torrent, absolutely a stunning job, and I think Mr. Maluch will be very happy by me saying that.
Yeah, big huggles. Big huggles too are not very interested. Extraordinaire, but never mind. So, quick rundown of the order, just while we've got a spare mini Mo. Dave Cusmith leads by 6 seconds then from Rude Heasterbeek for Nijo. 3rd is Lewis Redshaw for Hawkeye, 13 seconds off. And he's got a 6-second advantage over Lucas Euler, who's eating into that at a decent pace. 5th is Tom Vandervoort, currently ahead of Jim Parisis in 6th for Torrent. Alex Cooper 7 in a second midnight. Then David Junt for Red Archer in 9 and 8. Petter Kazza is 9 for Torrent. Jordan Weeks currently in 10th position, and he started from the very back, so that's been a good ascension up the field. Our other point scorers are Boyd Bryson for Phoenix, fantastic. Jason Muscat for Red Archer 12. Timu Toika for Woods in 13. That shouldn't go unnoticed either, because he was starting from pit lane, so that will do.
Indeed, I think he's coming in though. I think he's coming in for a pit stop this time by...
Yeah,
his pit light is on. Yeah, and he goes into the pit, so obviously he's running a very long strategy, his teammate. I think, obviously, I don't know quite what happened on the start line. It's a bit of a lag incident, but yeah, but he's making his way up through the field pretty well, so good job for him.
So that will push Steve Verlooy currently up into 13th for Kerno. But DeVos will go into 14th. Adam Rouse potentially will go into 15 or 16, depending on where Toika emerges. So the Woods duo relatively well matched here. James Johnson is in 17th, Halcyon on that down. Vinod Moodley is in 18th after losing a front wing. He's just ahead of Mark Stanton, but the constant racing driver has reeled him in. Scott Bennett's in 20th. He's got rid of his battle from earlier on. Dale Stones is in 23rd for Constant. Kieran Bryan behind him in 22nd for Felix. 23rd is Christoph Lippenstein right behind him as well. So that little trio having their weird own little battle. Miles Dixon's in 24th, 2 laps down, as is Mark Fuller in the ST. And ST at the back. Not really. They were doing very well earlier on. They was badgering around the edge of the points, but as the race settled down, they've slipped back.
Yeah, it looks like they've just lost their rhythm and they've fallen back to the Wooden Spooners. Timu and Miles have a bit of a battle as they've got a battle for 13th place between Steve and Bart DeVos. Steve Verloy for Kurt now. Had a bit of a quiet race as Steve, but Bart DeVos obviously had a bit of an incident into the Wall of Champions earlier on. He's coming up to the slipstream, going looking around the outside of the chicane. Will that work? No, Steve pushed him off wide, but can't go too wide through there, lads. I've tried that before.
I bet you like to try 2 at a time.
I would. It'd be an interesting experience.
Against the Wall of Champions.
Oh. Nice to see.
But Verloy keeps ahead. Verloy Savaloy and Bart DeVos behind. It's interesting to see Bart's relatively down the order compared to where he has been of late. So, and Verloy doing a decent job there for Kern. He gets a bit of stick, but the Savaloy man doing not a bad job.
Maybe he's doing a good job. Yep, Team Utoika's just gone round in the Wall of Champions. Didn't hit anything, so it looks like he's okay. And David Jenkins actually had to go over to the anti-cuts in the inside of the final part, so he had to have lost a little bit of time to the battle between himself and Jim. We've got Verloy, who's up the inside of DeVos for 13th and 14th. This is not helping Rude Heasterbeek at all. Rude had to get out of the power very late there on the exit. Not helping him in his battle for first place, trying to catch Dave Smith, but I don't think he's going to be able to do that anytime soon. But Steve still holding on to that 13th place, but not getting out of the way of Rudy. Should really be moving over for him. Lets him through on the inside of the chicane though, so, and he's managed to keep Bart behind him, so that's not too bad on a personal level.
That will do on the personal level, but Bart I think is going to try and do a sneaky one round the outside and hold it for one. Verloy! Oh, don't smack the leader out, my friend. There's a front wing missing in down the exit of the pit exit, so I'm not quite sure what happened there as DeVos again tries to go around the outside, 2 wheels on the grass. It's never going to work though, and Verloy holds it for the time being. But it's one of those things where you've got to really be careful. Oh, DeVos, much better into the chicane, and that's not the preferred overtaking method, but if it works for you, do it. DeVos up to a nice pretty 13th position.
Yeah, but Steve Verloy all the way, all over him again, but he's not going to make a sticking today. He has got, if he gets a better exit, I guess, but look at that, Bart just not plants it. Leaves on the apex, so Steve can't put the power down, but he has got to run into the hairpin. Is he going to think better of it? Yes, he is, so he's going to try and make it stick down the back straight. Has got a decent exit out of that final corner. We've got a bit of a wobble on there, but it's not lost him that much time.
You know, he's a bit pooey down on the power. It was like he's had 2 wheels on the grass when he went into that hairpin, and just ran a wee bit too wide, and unfortunately there for Bart, or for Steve, not able to capitalise on it as Tom van der Voort has gone round Cooper.
Jumped round in the hairpin, about to come in for a pit stop I think, but he's just put a bit too much power down on the exit of the hairpin and has spun it and lost out to Petter, which is exactly what not he needs, as he's coming for a pit stop now. This is probably the worst timing for it.
Tom van der Voort side by side with Cooper for 6 and 7. Cooper about to retake the position that he'd just lost to Tom. Oh, Tom doing his old faithful round the outside to get the inside for 2. Cooper's seen that one before and knows better of it this time by and gets a fantastic exit out from the first chicane. He's just able to hold the inside or the racing line, sorry, for that specific turn there. But Tom, he lost that position a couple of corners ago. He'll want that one back very quickly.
Yeah, it seems there's a lot of grip on the outside of turn 2. A lot of drivers tried that cutback. We've seen Tom do it quite a few times. He hasn't been able to make it stick very much, so it seems like there's a lot of grip on that outside apex for turn 2. So a lot of drivers trying to utilise that. Alex, I think, has obviously learned his lesson. But just on update for fourth and third, Lucas isn't actually catching Lewis that quickly. In fact, I think the gap stayed stable. So Lewis doing a very, very good job of keeping that third place, keeping the pace up.
Beautifully done, and Boyd still running very well in 11th position for Phoenix as well, for those keeping an eye out for our favourite, well, one of our favourite minnow teams. So good drives showing up and down the field.
Yep, James Johnson doing a solid job for 16th in 16th rubber for Halcyon. She's got his team boss ahead of him, Adam Rouse, who's now driving for Woods Racing. Obviously had a bit of trouble earlier on. Adam was running well in the top 10 in about 7th place. He's obviously had a few issues. We'll find out what that was about after the race.
How would you work that out though? You're managing one team but you're driving for another. Surely that is a conflict of interest.
It is, and I had it yesterday when I was driving for Super Cup. I was it was in qualifying, and I'm driving for World Tringas's team, Street Fighter, and I was on a lap. Well, not a particularly good one, but I was up on myself, and I World Tringas in the way. I was like, because he drives for me, PB. I was like, please move. And luckily for me, he did. But it's just one of those things about, especially for Willer, because I was running in about 5th place at the time. I mean, would you rather move out of your way for your team to do well, or would you rather stay behind because your teammate or your team boss is in front of you? I don't really know what I would do. I suppose it would be nice for my team.
Yeah, I mean, what would happen, take it to the real extremes, just whilst Casper is not under attack from anyone and so on. Okay, you're in 2nd position, you are closing down if on your own team for the win. Do you go for the win for yourself as a driver, or do you keep the win for your team?
Because I'm an egotistical bastard, I'd go for the win. But that's just me. I return the favour. I'm nice like that. I would return the favour one day, but because it's me, I'd probably go for the win. If it was someone else, I think it'd be nice for their team to win. I mean, if you're a driver, you feel confident enough that you can win a race eventually. Maybe it's best to let your team win, as we've got a battle for 19th place. I believe that is going to be between Kieran Ryan and Scott Bennett. We've got the leader right behind him. Look at Dave Smith looking to lap them. It's going to be costing them time. Mr. Kieran Ryan, not everyone's favourite lappy, but trying to chase Scott down. He can't quite do it. He's let Dave Smith pass. So very well done there from Kieran, letting Dave pass. Dave now going to go past Scott Bennett. Can Scott time it well so he doesn't let Kieran pass? He's done it very well there. Well done, Scott. So Dave Smith goes through without any problems at all, but got Kieran right behind him. Look at that. Oh, what a dive bomb there from Kieran. I don't think Scott would have expected that at all, but Kieran making it stick. Brilliant move there from Kieran.
It shows that Mark Stanton in 23rd is running on wet tyres, so I'm not quite sure what he's up to. I don't think he is, but that's what it showed for me. And yeah, it's been an interesting battle for those two, because Liechtenstein closed up onto the back of Stones, and then kind of sat there as if he's not quite got to next sector as they're going around to be that far east of it.
Yes, Christoph was actually running very well earlier on. I was in the lobby with Scott at the time, and Scott said that Christoph actually had a decent start. So since he's fallen back a little bit, he's got to let Rude pass. Oh, he's awful. He's going to spin there to let him pass, but does a decent job of getting out of the way for him. And yeah, he's in about Bell Stones for 21st position. So ideally not what they'd like to be, but it's points, isn't it? As long as you get to the end of the race, we actually had one retirement so far this race, so a very good attrition rate for today. Only Martin O'Connor for Halcyon has retired, so we've got 25 of the 26 runners still in. That's a very good attrition rate for today.
12 on the lead lap as well. Muscat the last of those, 109 off the pace. And it is still Carl Smith leading from 6 seconds from Easterby, because he goes past Stones, and Stones holds off Liechtenstein. Short is still in 3rd position, and the gap between him and Lucas Euler down to 6 seconds from 7, but that's taken a very long time to get that far. And Euler's actually got a battling Verloy and Rouse to get round, as Verloy and Rouse for 14 and 15 side by side out of turn 2.
Oh, we've lost a bit. Someone's lost a bit of suspension into the chicane before the hairpin.
Dixon in 25th. I've got him showing no front right wing wheel. It's up in the air at least either. Anyway.
Yep, so it looks like Miles Dixon, if he gets it back to the pits and repaired, he should be giving his engineers a very big pat on the back, but that looks like that's ruined his race. I'm not sure if that repaired. I think he's pulling over, and Jim is just letting the leaders through. It's a huge shame there for Miles. He was getting towards the end.
Miles has not been the most luckiest driver of 2013. Gets a fair bit of stick. He's going to have to watch himself because look at Bennett and co. Ooh, well done. But Bennett, Stones and Liechtenstein. Bennett must have been in trouble because he was well ahead of Stones and Liechtenstein, and Stones in 21st is having a go at Bennett. Bennett's gone defensive. Stones is going to go around the outside and takes the position. Oh, nice swoop there. Bennett under attack down to turn 1. That's the second position in 2 laps, and Liechtenstein's round. Oh,
Keeps it out of the
on the
wall.
grass.
Keeps it out of the wall. I don't think, yeah, Miles is, Oh, he has got it back. Oh, he's got all his stuff back. So Miles will be live another day.
There's a green car off the track. Was that Anisha?
Rude! It was Rude! Rude Heasterbeek has had a bit of problem. He's down to 3rd place.
He's gone off all on his own. He just tapped the wall on the outside, kind of done a little weird skid around, and is now back going again. But as I say, Lewis, or as you say, sorry, Redshaw up into 2nd, and there's a Liechtenstein between them. What will Lewis be thinking now?
I need new trousers because he will probably be crapping himself. And he's got Lucas only 5 seconds behind. Rude goes for the dive bomb on Crystal, but that's exactly not what Rude needed.
Yeah, rude awakening indeed. And it was such a weird incident because it was almost in slow motion, as if he was in the wet and had just aquaplaned off. Bizarre one there for him. Heasterbeek comes up, Redshaw's come up to lap his teammate. That'll be a satisfying one with Bart, I'm sure.
We've got Muscat and Rouse per 13th. Rouse muscles his way through Jason in the final corner, so Adam wanting to get the job done sooner rather than later, now in 13th place, a lap down. As we've got Boyd Bryson's pit light is on. I'm not sure if he's going to be coming in or not at the end of this lap. Someone more, that's Timu lagging out, but he's back on track now.
Well, DeVos isn't allowing Redshaw through to lap him. I think he's just trying to cling on for dear life. But yeah, not quite worked out well for Redshaw. He needs to get some team lead goods in, but he's kept Heasterbeek behind. It's going to be really interesting when it comes to the pit stops to see if Heasterbeek wants to go longer to see if he can leapfrog, or will he pit earlier to see if he can get the undercut. Neither really have a big advantage over the other, but both are viable options depending on what kind of traffic you've got ahead of you or something like that.
Indeed, yeah, Rude did pit a lap later than Dave earlier on, and Dave did manage to jump him. So if Rude does that again, I'm not sure if he'll be paying him much dividends round here, as now Lewis has got past Bart, so that's that over with. Oh, and Lewis, I'm not sure if that was lag, but he did tap the Water Champions a bit. I think it might have just been lag. But hasn't lost much time, if anything, at all. In fact, he's probably gained a little bit on Dave Glassman. He's actually only 16 seconds behind. Or I'll say only 16, but or 17 seconds going down the back straight. So Lewis is really on charge. 15.6 is a pretty good time from man in 2nd place.
Indeed. So Carsmith and Redshaw 15.1 apart. Heasterbeek 3rd. Then it's Euler, Paresis, Cooper, Vandervoort, Casser, Weeks and Johnny, not 10, Brett 11, and Voss now up in 12. Then Rouse, Muscat and Verloet, your point scorers, with Johnson leaving the rest of the field down to our 24th place man. 25th place man. So Morrison here to get going again. He's 3 laps down. Can't start, but it is still going.
Okay, he's also a lap down on his own teammate, so Miles having a bit of a horror show. Actually showing he's having no front of the car for me, so at least his feet will be getting a nice little breathe.
Yeah, there'll be no ferrets up that trouser leg.
Well, you'd hope not. I'd be a bit worried if he was there and if I got a bite on your knackers from a ferret. That'd be pain.
Brings back memories, that one. Boyd Bryson in from 11th position. Looking next, still doing an absolutely sterling job. That would have lost temporarily for the time being. But Bryson will get out before this Rouse and Muscat team battle. And in fact, Bryson gets out alongside DeVos. Such was his speed out of the pits, but Bryson does slot in just behind.
Yeah, but he's still got... that's not very good news for Rude Heasterbeek, because it means he's got another car to negotiate to get back up to the back of Lewis. He's all very slow through there, and Rude... I think he had to brake a little bit, because it's a bit surprising. Look at that, he hasn't actually let Rude past yet. Oh, he's slowing down. This is really hurting Rude's race.
That was unfortunate bulking action there, kind of a bit clumsy. Thought I'd let you through in one place and not in another, and then it's very difficult as a back marker to balance that whole I must let you through, but I don't want to lose any time on myself either. So you don't want to be too selfish, but you need to be, and that's a very fine balance. And boy, they're just losing out. And of course, Rude himself there. So
Yeah, and also I think Alex Cooper has lost out to Tom Vanderbilt. I don't know what quite happened there. As Miles Dixon, I think, is now out of the race. Yeah, we've lost Miles, so we've now only got 24 runners, up to 26 that started. We've got a very good attrition rate from the drivers, so good job from them.
yes, indeed, that was a binning it on lap 37. So his teammate Mark Fuller is still going in last, but he's just gone 3 laps down for the ST Racing team. Still yet to get onto the points. And doesn't look like they'll be doing it any time in this Grand Prix unless we have some kind of Toykard attraction going on, as Cooper and Kasser for 7 and 8 have closed right up, and Kasser appears to have got a wee bit of his mojo back, because that's the first time I've seen him all race be aggressive as opposed to defensive.
Yeah, but he looks like he was on the back of Tom, but I think Tom may have just snipped past Alex at some point. So Petter all over the back. He has lost out again now. Look, he's about half a second behind rather than a couple of attempts he was a minute ago. It just looks like, I don't think Alex is very comfortable in that car. He's been struggling a lot all season. I'm not sure if it's just with the car or the setup, he can't find something, but he seems to have struggled a lot this season. I mean, there's a lot of expectation for him going into midnight. Obviously, won the very, very quick drivers from Super Cup last season. He's just not sure if he's got his confidence. Obviously, he's a very quick driver. We all saw that last season, and he has shown flashes of pace this season. It's just hasn't maybe quite got it all together in terms of the setup or the car, maybe not to his liking. Which is a huge shame, because he's a very, very talented driver. He could actually even possibly challenge Lucas on his day. Just that's a case of having to get it all together for that one race.
But I mean, how much does obviously cars change from season to season? Do you find that form really can peak and trough depending on how you find a mod or a season or a car, like to such a big degree that it can really put you right off the boil?
I'm going to use myself as an example here. Last season, 2012, Woods, I had an absolutely stunning season. I think everything went right for me except for maybe 1 or 2 races. And then now, we come to this season, I've just lost. I mean, ever since testing in pre-season, I've just had no confidence, no pace, no anything really, and just nothing pace-wise. So it's a bit of a shame, because I enjoyed driving open wheelers. It's just that now, I mean, I've gone over to Tintop from WSS and I'm doing very well. So it's just a case of, does the mod suit you and does the car suit you? And I mean, this season in open wheeler just hasn't stuck for me.
I suppose you could say that a top-class driver is again Kasser having a go at Cooper. If could be one of those perennially adaptable person that can try and get their hands on any type of car and still wring the neck out of it. I suppose that puts you in a really top-class echelon of sim racing drivers.
Yeah, and some people can do. I mean, look at Dave Carl Smith. He's won in every single series we've done here at GPVWC in the last 2 seasons. I mean, just look at Masters last year. He went in there and dominated. I mean, didn't win 2 rounds. So someone like him can just go into any car they want and just absolutely dominate as Masters and leaves the game after crashing out a few laps ago. But yeah, going back to that, it's just a lot of some drivers can do it, some people can't. It's just a case of some people like other things more.
The feel of my love life as Rouse has got round Bryson for 12th and 13th. A little bit pit stop potentially affected there, but that could pay a real switch on the battle for what would be 11th overall by the end of the race. Although having said that, Bart de Vos has pulled away from Bryson and has seemed to have picked up his pace in relation to the Phoenix F1 car. So if he continues doing that, they could all meet themselves about 15-20 laps further on down the line towards the latter 10 laps of the race. So we'll keep a wee bit of a beady eye on that one. And Redshaw still just 15 seconds behind Carl Smith. He's not pulling away. I don't know if Carl Smith is just managing the gap or not, but it's still mightily impressive from Redshaw regardless.
Yeah, Redshaw actually just set his fastest lap of the race that time round at 15.4. I don't quite know what Dave did that time by, but yeah, Lewis really is. He's keep pushing. I mean, he's not pushing too hard as to where his tyres are. He must be pushing pretty hard because he's just set his fastest lap, but he's really, really determined to keep this podium position, it seems. He's got a 5-second gap on Lucas, who's in 4th place. So for Redshaw, everything's looking pretty rosy for him, and Rude hasn't exactly caught back up to him. This is like, for the pit stop flashed on, but he has flashed it back off again. So Lewis looks like he's going to be pitting very soon indeed. Look at that. Lucas has a bit of trouble lapping Vidal Mudele, who hasn't actually got his front wing, so it looks like there's been a bit of an incident there.
Again, that's his third front wing he'll have lost today.
It's obviously not going very well for Mr. Moody today. Weeks and Jim Parisas have both got their pit lights on. Whether they come in or not is another story.
Every time I look at Moodley, he's missing part of his car. I'm sure he's trying out some new aerodynamic packages.
As Jim goes up the inside of Alex for 7th place. He can't quite make it stick. Who gets the better drive out of the corner is Alex, there's a lot of grip on the outside of these corners. Petr now up in the slipstream of Alex. Is he going to make the move stick into the chicane? Bit of bashing going on there. Might have just been lag induced, but Petr gets through, and Alex has a very poor run into the entry there. And that's done and dusted for 7th place, and they've got Jordan Weeks just behind him as well. So Jordan then looking to get in on the act. Jim's actually in the pit lane now.
Lewis Redshaw's just exited the pits from 4th position into a lovely patch of clean air, so that suits him perfectly.
Lovely day. He's just come out ahead of Muscat and Van der Voort, who will actually be who's actually full position. So good job there from Lewis. He's timed that pit stop very well indeed. That puts Ruud and Lucas up to 2nd and 3rd place respectively. As Bart gets in the way a little. Oh no, he's battling with Verloy, and Lucas has got to get past that before he can hunt Mr. Heasterbeek down.
Jordan Weeks onto the back of Alex Cooper as well. He's past Parisas, who's been into the pits, but Weeks up to 8th in the Nord zone, quietly beavering away, and he could well play a little bit of a part in exactly where these TMO drivers and Denijo Van der Voort finish yet.
Yeah, it's a shame that Jordan, he made a setup mistake, and that's why he had to go to the back of the grid. He broke part Vermeer and actually changed his brakes. They were a bit too low for his liking, so he's put them up. But if he hadn't done that, I mean, it's a case of what could have been for him. He could be in about 2nd place right now. It could be a Norton 1-2. It's a huge shame for him. Ooh.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry to cut across you there. Tom was side by side with Lewis Redshaw. And Jason Muscat, who is lapped, is trying to kind of get his nose in and unlap himself as well. But Tom, at the moment, appears to have the legs on our Brittany friend, and this could be key, as Tom, I think, is going to go steaming right through. Oh, contact! Wheels connect ever so slightly, but Tom backs out of it, but he looks like he's got the legs on him at the moment.
Van der Voort is coming in to the pits this lap. I believe his pit light is on, as him and Lewis won't be helping either driver at all, especially Lewis, who is fighting with his teammate Ruud and Mr. Euler. Is he going to get to the back of him? He has to brake very heavily just to avoid hitting Tom there, but this is really damaging Lucas's chances as Ruud. Dave Carl-Smith just come out of the pit lane now. He has been in, and he's going to retake the lead, so he's got a whole pit stop on the rest of the field. So Dave Carl-Smith looking in a very promising position, 22 laps from the end of this race.
Van der Voort does indeed pop in, but Redshaw misses the chicane altogether, jumps across the anti-cuts. He's been spooked, I think, by Jason Muscat, who he must be suddenly finding pace because he's hassling Redshaw. Cooper goes up to 5, Weeks goes up to 6, Casser's in as well, as is Van der Voort. Parisas will potentially gain out of that one, by the looks of it. And well, it's all starting to shake itself out as the field come in for their potentially last set of pit stops. Van der Voort comes out in 8th behind Parisas, Casser's behind them, and David Junt is behind the lot of them as well. So don't forget David Junt, he is very much still part of this little battle between the top 10, who have kind of in their class of their own, because from 11 down there's a significant gap.
There's about a 30 second gap, so very much two-tier race here at the moment. Ruud Heasterbeek into the pits from 2nd place. Lucas Euler goes through into that 2nd place.
I wonder how Heasterbeek will deal with that versus Redshaw, because where Redshaw has been held up as Mark Stanton has just retired with brake failure on lap 46. Obviously constantly in retirement. It's going to be interesting to see exactly where Heasterbeek appears regardless to Redshaw. He's going to beat him, and that was because of all that battling. Heasterbeek well out ahead of Redshaw. Redshaw crosses the line now. Heasterbeek's exiting out of turn 2, so that has been a swap round of position Lewis Redshaw losing out because he was battling with people he wasn't necessarily racing with, and surprisingly it was the other Nijo of Tom Vandervoort.
Yes, and this is going to hurt him in relation to Mr. Euler as well. He's going to come up very, very close to Lucas, I think, at this rate. So Lewis has had a bit of a mare in terms of that. He was looking so good for a podium earlier on, but 4th place nevertheless is a very, very good result for him, but it's a case of what could have been. So we've got a battle for P5 between Alex and Jordan. Alex has got his pit light on. Jordan does not, so Alex may be coming into the pits this time by. Jordan doesn't obviously know that, so we'll be thinking, oh crap, I need to get past him as soon as I can. Jordan doing a very good job, up to 5th, going to be 5th place if he can get past Alex. He's going to go for dive bomb this time by. Oh, he does! I don't think Alex quite expected that. Well, Alex gets very twitchy on the exit and Jordan nips past him, but I think that's a bit of a racing incident. Jordan obviously went for the dive, but Alex didn't quite see. I think Jordan half committed to it, but no one's actually any problems with their car, so Alex on, and Jordan goes in, so brilliant move there from Jordan. Had to get it done. Jordan Weeks comes in there ahead of Alex Cooper, so Jordan actually very aggressive there. I mean, it paid off for him.
Definitely, that will do nicely there for Mr. Weeks, who a lot of people have kind of given him a little bit of pressure at the Nordzone team, as Paresis goes up into 5th position currently at the moment, so he's going to stay ahead of them. Tom Vandervoort, I think, is going to end up coming out very much alongside them. Vandervoort, does he beat him? Yeah, he does, and Alex has beat Weeks out of the pits. Weeks a very long stop.
I know that Midnight has got some insane pit crew, but I think Jordan may not have selected his pit crew, so that may have cost him a couple of seconds. So Jordan's going to have to do all over again for 5th place as we settle down into a nice rhythm now. We've got a few not really many battles on track. Actually, I've just found one. Rouse v Muscat for 13th place. Rouse in the woods, Jason in the Red Archer. Rouse looking around the outside of the hairpin. That's not going to happen, but is he going to get the cutback out of the hairpin? Jason's got a good exit though, so Adam's going to slipstream him down the back straight into the chicane. Not sure who's got the lower wings, but I know that Adam determined to get a few points on his debut for Woods, and he's going to slipstream straight past him, no problem whatsoever there, and he goes into 13th place.
Jason getting a good exit out from the chicane though, and Muscat, he was originally punted off down at turn 1. He won't want to go to the outside this time right, but he's going to go for the inside for the next corner. He's stuck his nose right up inside. Rouse has had good grip, as has other people out from the exit, but Muscat powers out there, and if he cuts across now, which he does do, that stops Rouse from taking the original racing line. And that's a good switcheroo back through there for Jason Muscat. These two have been at each other's throats for a while, and I think that will run and run, as Bart DeVos has just got round Boyd Bryson for 11th and 12th position, directly ahead of them as well. So still plenty of stuff to happen here on lap 52 of 70.
But it looks like Jason Adam having a lot of fun there. Adam actually did a very gentlemanly thing. He could have taken, just completely cut Jason off, but being the gentleman that Adam is, he decided to give Jason a bit of room, as he's going to think better of a dive bomb going into the final hairpin before the long back straight. Adam is also going to attempt to do what he did the lap before and get him down into the chicane. We've done 50 laps now of a 70-lap race. Still 20 to go. Dave Cosmith looking very promising outside in the lead. Lucas Euler in 2nd place as Adam Rouse comes down the inside again into the hairpin, and Adam does indeed do it once again, and he has got a better exit this time out from turn 1, so I think Adam will have that done and dusted.
Good move there by Mr. Rouse here, and his first time out for Woods Racing. Muscat still another one which is kind of what could have been, as Dale Stones has just retired with brake failure as well. So quite clearly both constant racing drivers severely underestimating exactly what needed to be done with their brake balances and their brake duct sizes, as Jim Paresis and Tom Vandervoort rejoin their battle, and Tom a little bit more fiery in the second half of this race. He was picking people off earlier on. Now he looks like that car is pointed on low fuel, and look at the way he was able to hold on around the outside into that chicane. Fantastic stuff there as Jim clings on around the outside. That will do quite nicely, but Tom, I think this could be a matter of when, not if.
We've just been told by our Mr. Cameraman Extraordinaire, Mr. Malouche, that Tom is actually on the options compared to Jim, who is on the prime. So it's going to be a matter of, like you said, when rather than if. He's going to stick it around the outside, going to get a decent drive. Jim keeps the place for now, but going to slipstream down the long straight. In fact, they're side by side going down the straight, so it's a case of who's got the lesser wings.
That will show up their set up, surely.
That will indeed, as Jim looked like Tom Powers past him, and will Jim go for the dive bomb? He does indeed! That was a very late manoeuvre there from Jim, but he made it stick, so fair play to him. Not any contact as well. Got Alex 5 seconds down the road, so I don't think he'll be probably done any time soon, as Tom goes for a move again down to turn 1. Made it stick this time. He's got it inside for turn 2 as well, so Tom now just to pull away, I think, from Jim as we come to the last stage of the race, as Lucas has actually come in for his pit stop, I believe. Yeah, if you look at that, he's already come out ahead of Rude, so Lucas Euler has managed to make it work into second position, so good job there from Lucas after having such a mare earlier on. Now in the second place.
Even on a bad day, he seems to come out smelling of roses. Disgraceful. But Carl Smith leads from 17 seconds from Euler. He's to Beek is third. Then Redshaw 4. Tom Vandervoort now up into 5th, pulling away already from Jim Paresis. Alex Cooper is in 7. Jordan Weeks not closing him down, but David Junt is onto the back of Weeks for 8th and 9th, so we'll keep an eye on that. Cass still in 10. DeVos is in 11. Boyd Bryson still going in 12th for Phoenix. That's great. But Adam Rouse and Jason Muscat are both reeling him in, so they're going to all meet in the middle at some point. Toika's up into 15th for the time being, and he's got half of, well, the entire of Sector 1 nearly clear of James Johnson. Then it's Verloy, Ryan, Bennett, Lichtenstein, Moodley, Fuller is our final man going 4 laps down, and a big field spread there. David Junt's lost his front wing. Oh, he's smashed into the pit exit! He smashed into the concrete 100-metre sign for the pit exit. He'd lost his front wing in a bizarre incident.
And Jordan's out! Jordan Weeks is out as well!
Yeah, David Junt smashes into the back of Jordan Weeks in the entry braking phase, loses his front wing, crashes into the thing. Weeks lost his rear suspension in the meantime doing it because he smacks into the barrier of the Wall of Champions, even though he was hit on the way in. Such was the difference in the closing speed. So we'll see how that one transpires, but did Jordan brake too soon? We'll soon find out. But yeah, David, unfortunately, they're out of the race after a really strong race there for Red Archer, and Jordan Weeks copy blotting himself coming from the back of the field on his way up again. So that actually puts Boyd Bryson into 10th for Phoenix. Excellent. Rousey to 11, Muscati to 12, and then Toika will go to 13, Johnson to 14 on debut for Halcyon, and Steve Verloy clinging on to the final point then in 15. Not too far ahead of Kieran Ryan, actually, so Phoenix could well be on for double points.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Malush told us possibly what happened, but we haven't. I'm not sure if we can get a replay of it, so we'll have to see after the race what truly did transpire. But was in 9th, had a bit of a tap on the wall, the exit of the chicane after the sector 1-2 split line. There's a bit of lag there as well, a bit of heavy lag actually. Cars in the going to Montreal for a drink rather than staying on the black stuff, so. Ooh. Bit of lag there, but looks like it's just sorted itself back out. As look at that, Jordan Redshaw's actually closed in on Rude quite a lot. I'm not sure if Rude's made a mistake, but Lewis now only 2 seconds off Rude, so we're going to have a battle for third place brewing very, very shortly.
Rude has not had the back markers play out to his advantage throughout the second half of this race. He's just caught them at the wrong place at the wrong time, as Redshaw has just got round James Johnson, who suddenly found himself in a dizzy 14th. That's not bad. I've raced James many a times in other series, and he's a very competent driver, so it's good to see him in GPVWC, as we welcome all new drivers to GPVWC. If you fancy signing up, pop over to the website, get yourself on. That's my advice. Stick to it.
Yep, very, very good advice there indeed. Jim Priest is only 2.5 seconds off Tom Vandervoort. Obviously, Tom overtook him earlier on, but I think Jim starting to reel him back in. May be mistaken because he's now just taken a half second out in one corner. Alex Cooper 3.5 seconds back from Jim in 7th place, and Petter another good 10 seconds down the road. There's a big gap down to Bart DeVos, 45 seconds in 9th, so it looks like the top 8 are miles and away from the rest of the field. With their out front, David Carl Smith, nice comfortable 21 second lead, so I think Dave Carl Smith, barring any incidents or rain, he could be looking on for a very strong finish here today.
I'll be praying that there isn't anyone, because as soon as that happened, with everyone with the low wings, they were absolutely skating off everywhere. I'd like to see it happen with about 3 laps to go, and just see exactly what that does to everyone. It comes steaming down. So, as the retirements drop themselves down to 20 drivers left in the race. Our retirements: Jordan Weeks, David Junt, Dale Stones, Mark Stanton, Miles Dixon and Martin O'Connor. So, still not bad. And here's Heasterbeek, about to be under attack from the Britmeister.
Yeah, but Lewis has done a very good job of reeling him in and just keeps it calm. I'm not sure if Rude's struggling a little bit. Can't see what tyres they're on. Maybe Mr. Malouche can give us that info, but Lewis really has dragged Rude in these last couple of laps, about a second a lap quicker each lap. So Lewis doing a stunning job of making him. Just heard that Lewis is. We think Lewis is on options and Rude's on prime, so tyre difference definitely going to be playing as Lewis goes for the dive bomb and makes it work. So Rude can't quite get the cut back, and Lewis back up into 3rd place.
Beautifully done there, but Rude's about to give him another rude awakening as he goes down the outside. Fantastic on the slipstream. Is Redshaw going to keep it there? No, he's not. Mark Fuller's facing the wrong way in pit lane entry, but that's nothing to do with them. But Redshaw's such the ability to get on the power on the exit, nearly going straight through as he's going to have a go down into turn 1. Is there room? Oh, he's gone in very deep. Heasterbeek gets out of it. Redshaw bursts through. Oh, he's a bit too happy on the accelerator coming out from 2. Sidewheel drifts as almost as if to go yeehaw, and takes himself back up into 3rd position. 11 laps to go, still in this Grand Prix. If he can make those tyres last, he can very well find himself in a very decent position. Slightly reeling in Euler, but not as quick rate as what he was in Heasterbeek, but 3rd position nonetheless, looking pretty.
Mr. Brittany, so Brittany doing a very, very good job today. Absolutely stunning turn of pace. I'm not sure if Lewis has actually used primes. It wouldn't surprise me if he had used them already. So Lewis doing some absolutely stunning driving today.
Rousey up to 10th. He's passed Boyd Bryson, so the Phoenix F1 driver, no longer in 10th place. He's under attack now from Jason Muscat. Browse and Muscat have not been out from each other's sights for most of the race, and now Bryson has kind of been embroiled in that battle. They could well chew him up and spit him back out again. But at the worst case scenario, Timu Toika, who's in 13th place, is only just leaving the pits from his final stop now. So you'd kind of expect that Boyd, even if he loses that position, has got nearly an entire lap over Timu behind. So therefore, he'd be safe in at least a top 12 position, which is still stunning for Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix having a very strong race today. I think Kieran Ryan just hovering. He's in 15th now, so ahead of Steve Verlo. So both Phoenixes in the points today. Good job from the Phoenix boys. Had a bit of a tough start to the season, but they've got their par up to scratch and they're paying dividends for them.
So, I mean, honestly, for a team from the back, how valuable is it to get a few points on the board? Because we've seen ST Racing, they're not scoring points, and they appear to be dropping further and further away.
I mean, I remember when I first joined GPVWC, I joined with ST Racing, and when Nijo first joined, I joined with them. It's nice to get points on the board as early as you can. It gives you confidence as a team, as a driver, that you can do well regardless of the car. I've never had a new team in the Super League myself, so I can't really comment on that specifically, but it's nice to know that with a nice team you can score points and you can be competitive. I mean, look at Nijo, they're ones they've been in it for a couple of years now, but they've got their act together with some 2 very, very quick drivers. Now look at them, they're 2nd place in the standings, and no, 3rd place, sorry, they're hassling the top few teams. So Nijo are a perfect team, as there's something going on.
There is very much moving Liechtenstein taking each other out down there. If I became Moodley missing entirely, Liechtenstein goes up to 13th position. I just thought, oh god, Moodley again. I clicked on it, and this time he has a front wing on. So I was chortling to myself. Apologies.
There's no problem, as Boyd Bryson is now coming to the pits. He's followed by James Johnson. So that's 14th and 12th places. James Johnson a lap down on Boyd. Unlaps himself briefly as he goes into the pit box ahead of him, and Boyd actually a very long stop from Boyd Bryson, but out again he goes into 12th place. So that looks like a very set in stone 12th place there for Boyd Bryson. 11 laps to go in this race. Dave Crossmith comes around for the 60th time in just a couple of 61st time rather in now. He's got a nice 21 second lead. 16.7 looks like he's just reeling the car home now in these last few laps.
Kieran Ryan has moved past James Johnson with that stop. So Phoenix now in 12th and 14th. So every point counts if you believe in Tesco. And again, Moodley now on the back of Liechtenstein for 18th and 19th. I don't know what Liechtenstein's doing. It's as if he's limping home. So, or either that, or he feels that he overtook Moodley unfairly. I'm not sure. It was a bit of a bizarre move, but they've swapped back round again. And Green Stripes, last year, piling in the points. This year, really, really struggling. What would you say to a team that is struggling compared to previous form? What would you say would be the first thing that you'd look at to try and regroup in a way?
Well, GSR obviously are one team who have been very unlucky. Dave Gasper's their point scorer has actually left the team now, so huge shame for GSR. Always the Phoenix boys to have a bit of a touch in the final corner. Kieran trying to unlap himself actually from Boy, a bit of a strange incident there. But I think I can use Woods as a perfect example. Actually, we've had a bit of a poor. I mean, I think Ollie would admit himself we've had a bit of a poor start to the season with me dropping out, and then Timu having an awful. I mean, about a month out with his motherboard being broken. But we've actually regrouped now. We've got Adam in. We've got Timu back now. Look at us both now. We're both in the points. We had going to get a good haul of points there. Adam was very unlucky, and so was Timu. I think we've been probably the unluckiest team on the grid, but we've grouped together. We've still stayed strong. We've got a very, very good car, so we know the car's there. It's just a case of trying to get the team in a positive attitude. We've done it, and now look at that. Adam in 10th after such a bit of a weird incident in the first couple of laps, and then Timu Toiku, we also had that massive accident on the formation lap, which is a bit weird, but he's still in 13th, so it's nice to see that we are actually fighting back, and it does do a team wonders if you to keep the motivation high in bad times like this.
Motivation, confidence and team spirit, I think, are things that can never be undervalued when it comes to any type of sport, not just sim racing, but anything that you put your hand to in life. And yeah, I'm not going to start spouting off some kind of mumbo jumbo on the world, but I think that they are invaluable. Coming up to 6 laps to go after the one that Dave Carr Smith is on. 19 seconds now the gap over Euler with Redshaw third. Then the Nijos of Hisa Beek and Tom Vandervoort 4 and 5, Parisa 6, Cooper 7, Casa 8, DeVos 1 lap down, now 9 for Hawkeye, ahead of Adam Rouse in 10, who's just gotten round the Green Stripes duo and missed the corner. Don't do that. Muscat in 11, still very much hunting down Adam Rouse. Those two have yet to leave each other's sights. Then it's Bride Bryson 12, Toyka 13, Ryan in 14, and James Johnson scoring the last point currently for Halcyon. So a real collection of constructors. Then it's the Kernos of Verloy and Bennett. Moodley and Liechtenstein still battling away for the Green Stripes racing duo. Mark Fuller, your final run at 4 laps apiece, or 4 laps adrift, sorry.
It's both Rouse and Muscat coming to the pits for their final stops. It looks like they're both shoving on their last tyres for the race. 9 laps to go. Rouse got very wide in the hairpin. That's a lap. One of the Green Stripe cars, I think, and Adam had a lot of time lost compared to Jason. Jason, very sweet stop there from Jason Muscat. He's going to beat Adam Rouse out, so Adam Rouse lost out in the pit lane there. Both still 10th and 11th though, so no positions lost for either of them, just a position swap there.
Very funny, because if I was running a team, probably the pit stop crew would be one of the last things I'd think of sending I need to upgrade and play with. But today, that's not the first time we've seen pit stop crews deciding exactly where you end up.
Yeah, and they've got Alex Cooper between them now, which actually may be a blessing in disguise for Adam Rouse. He didn't actually have to let Alex pass, but Jason will do. Jason's got a 3-second gap, so there's a big pit stop difference between the two teams. I know Woods will be upgrading next time we can. But not Jason Muscat, sorry, Lewis Redshaw in third place, actually closing Lucas Oiley down a little bit each lap. I don't think he's going to have enough time to close the 7-second gap down, but definitely pushing very hard. 16.4 compared to a 15.5, so Lewis really is pushing hard.
Fantastic job. 3 clear, as you say, of Ruud Hiesterbeek, who's sliding the car around there in the Nijo. There's still time for him to catch Euler, potentially. It'll be very close if he does. Bart de Vos taps one of the walls. I love the Canada circuit.
Oh, Seymour Talker's spun off and he's lost his front wing. Huge shame there. Team is just coming out of the turn 3-4 chicane. He just got powered down a little bit too early and has now lost his front wing, which is a huge shame. He's got Kieran Ryan coming over the start line now, so whether he can get round and out in time will be seeing very soon. Will he actually have... I think he should still be in the points, but it may only be 15th now, so huge shame there for Timo.
That is a near mirror image of what happened to Heasterbeek earlier on, wasn't it? But Heasterbeek just took his foot completely off the the throttle and just kind of skid coasted to a stop and managed to miss all the barriers. Yeah, great stuff. Their team is still being able to get back to the pits. Ryan coming down outside of Sector 1, so I think he'll still be okay. He'll still be out in around Johnson-Verloy territory, so points still to be had for Team 8 if he's quick about it. And still the green straps for his stopping position into the final chicane. Moodley stays ahead of Liechtenstein.
Oh, he's going round. Team I don't think Team decided not to pit.
What?
Team decided to go through rather than maybe he thinks it's going to be more of a hindrance to actually pit. 'Cause, I mean, he is a couple of laps down on Dave, so there's only actually 5 laps to go rather than the 6 he actually has. So maybe it's worth Timu actually just only. I mean, if you look down the back straight, he's actually gaining about 10 kilometres an hour, not having that front wing, so it might actually be more use for him just to stay out.
And also
smart thinking from him there, actually.
Yeah, and do you know what? And he'll have to do 1 lap less even if he does get caught by Kieran Ryan, because James Johnson is 3 laps down and has just been done by Dave Carr-Smith. So, potentially, if he times that right and they get caught in quick enough succession, he would only actually have another 1 lap less to do anyway.
Yep, so Kira's only 10 seconds down the road from him, but definitely points still on the board, so that'll actually put Phoenix into 12th and 13th, so Phoenix does a very good job today.
That will be a beer or 12, I am sure. Carson still running around quite happily. Obviously, we've still got a couple of laps left to go, but who are your drivers, would you say, for the day?
I think the one that immediately springs to mind is Lewis Redshaw. Absolutely stunning race from Lewis. I was very, very unlucky earlier on with the lap traffic and battling with Tom, and he still managed to pull out a... the pit light's actually just come back on. I don't think he'd have to pit in. That'd be horror for Lewis. But yep, he's got a nice 4-second gap to Rude. Lewis probably my driver of the day at the moment, done a stellar job. The Phoenix boys also have done a very, very good job today. Very happy for those two, Boyd and Kieran. Both strong race for them. And before that really bizarre incident, I would say Jordan Weeks as well, for his stunning performance from the back of the field. But yeah, I think I'd have to go with Lewis Redshaw for today.
Kieran Ryan's in the pits.
It must be. Maybe I'm not sure if he's on the primes yet, but now actually, Team will be breathing a sigh of relief at seeing that. Got a nice 18-second gap to James Johnson.
Johnson may well leapfrog. In fact, he has his leapfrogged Ryan just about. Ryan comes out of the pits. Johnson's just exiting too, so Ryan rejoins 15th. Very little time to capitalise and get back past the Englishman.
Does indeed, as Lewis does go through again. So I don't think Lewis will need to pit again after all. I think he's just going to coast at home these last few laps. He does have a podium in his pocket, so yeah, I think my driver of the day will have to be Lewis. What about yourself?
I'm going to agree with you. Redshaw's done an absolutely outstanding job today, and my other one would be Boyd Bryson, who's done an absolutely excellent job there for Phoenix as well. And a couple of shout-outs, I'd say, to James Johnson on debut, looking like he's going to pick up some points and do a good job. And I would also give a shout-out to, before it all went wrong for him, Dave Jump, who was doing a completely bizarre strategy, potentially, and it looked like that could have paid him off with a nice little 6th or 7th position.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate that ends between himself and Jordan. We didn't catch that at the end, but yep, Dave Carr-Smith got 2 laps to go at this time by 16.60. He is just winding himself down to finish these last couple of laps. Lucas Oil is 17 seconds down the road, and Lewis Redshaw further 6.5. Lewis goes through again, so it looks like Lewis won't be pitting anytime soon. So great to see. Again, got the New Zealand boys 4th and 5th, so that rounds out your top 5. But Team Etoigo actually going to get very lucky with these points. Boyd Bryson is actually past Adam Rouse for 11th place. It looks like Adam's carrying some sort of problem there, and Boyd's actually moved up into 11th place.
Wonder if his brakes have gone.
Yeah, yes, he has. Look, he's braking. Oh, he was just letting Dave Carr-Smith, but I do think his brakes may have actually gone because he's braking very, very early. You know, he's going to have to 1 lap less now that Dave Carr-Smith is actually literally flying through the air because his car is. Yeah, look at that. Adam Rouse. He's gonna go out. He's lost his. He's out. Oh yes, his brakes must have just gone.
Yeah.
He's out. He's going to get points. Oh no, he's not going to get points. He's going to be down to. But that puts Mr. Verloy into the points.
So as Kerno will be saying, Kerno now. We'll be just trying to get up So that then just outside the points there, so Scotty will not be too impressed with being 16th. The worthy finish in a race. Rouse leaves the server immediately in annoyance and disgust, I would imagine. That's a shame to what was a excellent race.
Oh, and Rachel's in! Rachel's in the pits with 1 lap to go!
Oh, crikey!
He must have to put the options on, or the primes on rather. That's a huge disappointment for Lewis, but he's going to go straight back out. I'm going to imagine that he's gone down to 4th. He must have just had not enough. His skill is still beaten. It's going to be very close between him and Tom for 4th place. Tom goes through now, but obviously Lewis does not have that tricky little chicane to do. Oh, he's going to be very close between the Nijo and the Hawkeye. Will he manage to do it? He does. Oh, just managed to get through. Good job there from Lewis Redshaw, but huge shame that he's had to leave that podium.
Sorry, Tom hit the back of him, but they're all right.
Oh, I was on board with Lewis. I saw him really struggle to get that back onto track, but he has done it. So relief, but I think a bit of a tinge of disappointment there for Lewis. He could have had a 3rd place, but still a 4th place in this sort of field is a very good job for him. And so huge shame, but still a good job from the man from Paynton.
Indeed, as Dave Carr-Smith crosses the line to win the Canadian Grand Prix for GPVWC Super League. An absolutely fantastic result for him. Well clear class of the field. Absolutely cacking himself in qualifying with a setup purely meant for speed, and it paid off with the weather and for overtaking. Lucas Euler comes through for 2nd. Best of a bad job, 2nd position. You can't.
Oh, Lewis and Tom for 4th place. Tom's actually taken 4th away from Lewis into the final, but Lewis goes through! Oh, I've never gone that high, but Lewis has managed to get back through. Oh.
His feet grabs for Redshaw. That was last of the very late, wasn't it? But he got through. Well done. Tom then down to 5, so Redshaw 4th. Still a best ever, I think, for him, and he'll be cartwheeling inside. Parisis will come through in 6th, just ahead of Alex Cooper. They're very close, actually. Casa is in 8th. Bart DeVos is in 9th, and 1 lap down already finished. Muscat's in Bryce 11. Great stuff there for Phoenix. Timu Toika does indeed cling on to 12th, ahead of James Johnson 13, Kieran Ryan 14, Steve Verloy gets a final point 15 from Scott Bennett 16. Then Moodley beat Christoph Wittgenstein in the end by a 2nd. And then it was Adam Rouse, classified 19th, 4 laps adrift, with Mark Fuller going 5 laps down in the end for ST, but still finishing in 20th. Your retirements, Jordan Weeks and David Junt in a collision. Dale Stones and Mark Stanton both with failures of their brakes, with Miles Dixon crashing on lap 37 and Martin O'Connor crashing on lap 13.
Yep, so very exciting race. Well done to Mr. Carr-Smith. Will he ever stop winning? Has a bad day and he still manages to win, and then we've got Mr. Euler have a bad day and still come 2nd. So good results all around.
Absolutely a pleasure to be broadcasting with you all. I hope that wasn't so bad on the old technical side. Thank you very much to Ollie for braving it out in the beginning there, and apologies for myself if that was all a bit pooey from my side. Thank you very much to Tom for standing in at the very last minute.
Yep, it's been an absolute pleasure commentating on this race. It's been very fun.
Oh, man hugs. And there's ever Simon Marush, who gets to do the award of most hours in a commentary booth ever, I think. We are going to be back. Where are we off to next time round as Dave Carr-Smith continues to eke out the gap? He was 13 points ahead of Lucas Euler beforehand, and Heasterbeek was in 3rd. That will only have been extended here today. The calendar for next time out is Korea on the 6th of June. We'll have the Formula Challenge on a Tuesday, the Super Cup on the Wednesday, and of course join us again here, as always, in the Thursday for your events for Super League. So thank you very much for joining us all. Cheers, everyone, and have a quick beer. Bye for now.
See you later.